Hey guys, CJ here. So, holy goddamn son of a. Wait, first 10 seconds of YouTube videos. I'm not monetized. Who gives it? Holy goddamn son of a bitch. Liquid look absolutely fucking horrible. I think this is not something that is a surprise to anyone who's been watching Tier 1 Counterstrike for a consistent amount of time, especially in the past year, how shall you say. Now, before I get too much into digging at them as a team, there is something that is obviously clearly in the water at Liquid, something that is clearly wrong. There is a constellation here of Elige and Naf, two individuals who have seen the top of the world together outside the major. Nertz, a former rookie of the year. Shuhei, someone who, as the community, we pegged as the successor of Kerrigan and the next one on deck as one of the all-time great IGLs. And Ultimate, we don't really talk about Ultimate. You know, he's someone who twists gassed up before obviously leaving him to go play with Brokey. And, Brokey's obviously doing so well right now. Despite my love for him, I love Brokey. FaZe ain't doing too great themselves. But especially within recent events, and, especially ESL Pro League, where they bombed out within their most recent stage, going far longer than they honestly should have. They probably should have lost to M80 if M80 hadn't given away a couple of, rounds and some 3v5s, some 2v5s, some other positions where they honestly had everything in their back pocket in order to win, and they just simply chose to give it away. It's rather staggering to see that Liquid made it as long as they did within that event, but I'm glad they did not make it to the current stage, because even in victory, Liquid look like they simply hate being together. And it's very telling that, so the two best players on Liquid right now are Elige and Nertz. No shocker. But statistically speaking, Nertz is on top, followed by Elige. Then you have Nap, and then you have Ultimate, their Opper, who is a sub for the year 2026. The year 2026. Ultimate is a sub 1.0 player. He is your fucking Opper. That is unacceptable for a team of Liquid's budget and aspirations. That is fundamentally unacceptable in my opinion. Liquid is someone who is, for all that we shat on Astralis for their failure to make majors until the implementation of the VRS, Liquid is their parallel. Liquid is their, yin to their yang. And at least fucking now, Astralis, Foot and Astralis have a fun little rivalry going on. Astralis got rid of Device, or Device wished to leave, whichever way you wish to frame that. They got, they brought in Ryu and Fuzi, and now they're actually looking somewhat competitive. They're actually looking like, they're not a top 5 team in the world by a long shot. Not by a long shot. But they're at least a decent top 12 to top 8 mix-it-up team alongside the likes of Paravision, alongside the likes of other gatekeeper guardian teams to the top 10. And that's far more respectable than what they have been for the past 5 years. Liquid, the last time they made a grand finals, Grim and fucking Fallen were on the roster. Like, Stewie 2K was still around the last time that they were relevant, because fucking he bum rushed up mid, and I'm speaking purely from memory here. I'll see if I can find it and put it over this. But Stewie 2K, Grim, and Fallen were the last time this team was remotely relevant, in my personal opinion. I don't give a shit about the rankings. I don't give a shit if they were top 5 after that. They were never in actual contention to win anything, despite anything I may have said in the past. It was more hope and optimism than genuine critique, how shall you say. And Liquid now sits at a point where they're losing to goddamn 3D Max, who just replaced Body with Mitsuda. Fucking Mitsuda. In the year of our Lord, 2026, Team Liquid lost to fucking 3D Max with Mitsuda on their lineup, top fragging. When do you take a point of evaluation from a back-of-house standpoint and a team standpoint and realize this is not working? Something is wrong here. Give this team a better offer. Fuck. Give this team Fuzi. Like, honestly, that is the insane dimension hop, if you want, right now, is that teams such as Astralis in G2, and I love Sampaias. I love Sampaias with my ENTS-related biases to the bottom of my heart. But holy shit, the fact that Fuzi has now gone to Astralis and is outperforming a majority of other operators within the scene. Fuzi realistically should have gone to Liquid. He was on Wildcard. I promised I would stop punching the desk in the last video. Fuzi should have predictably, hopefully after his time in Wildcard, should have gone to Liquid, because Ultimate has not panned out in the way that you want him to, and he is not capable of competing at the highest tiers of Counterstrike. It's just flatly been laid bare before all of us, and this is goddamn Pro League. This isn't even Cologne, Katowice, now Krakow. This isn't an S-tier event. This is the bottom of the barrel online. In terms of S-tier events, this is the bottom of the barrel online CS for ESL, and he still cannot perform. How are you still keeping Ultimate on this team? How are you still holding Nerds and Elige back with this type of thing? What has happened to Shuhei's calling? Naf didn't even think he was going to be on this team after the goddamn spring season of last year. He didn't think he was still going to be here, and yet he is, and I have no hatred for Naf. I adore Naf as a player. But what are we doing? Liquid as a brand name is one of the most powerful brands in all of esports in general. It's up there with Na'Vi in terms of prestige. Playing for Liquid used to be, as a North American, playing for Liquid was something aspirational. And now there's a random EU mix that loses to a brand new debut EU mix from goddamn, not even EU, sorry, international mix from Passion UA, who I have said for many years that JT and TC should have been picked up by Liquid so that way they can have a consistent IGL and coaching vision with parity between them. But no, we're still with Flashy. We're still with a rotating IGL door. What are we doing as an organization? What is the choices that are being made with an organization where a majority of these players are not inconsequentially compensated? And we're still bombing out of events. We're not even close to being a threat within the top tier of Counter-Strike. And if you look at these names, they damn well should be. There's clearly something in the water over there, and Liquid is absolutely dead in it. So there's my unfortunately spirited rant, as you would say. Hope everyone is having a great weekend. Excited, obviously, for the rest of ESL Pro League. If you have not or are not aware, Buckethead CS, aka Donnie, aka a longtime friend of the channel who has been around since pretty much our inception when I went to Laundersland 2 and we became pretty decent friends along with many other individuals whom I met there, will be casting in the next 2 days, including today when it is uploaded likely, for the ESL Pro League. Make sure you go over and show him some support because he is an individual who is entirely deserving of it, and I'll make sure to include his socials down below. Donnie is amazing. Liquid is absolutely dead in the water, and Nip's not far behind them, but we're not going to talk about that. I think Snappy could still go somewhere. I think there's a weird struggle period. Snappy's a 2-cycle IGL. Nip will probably be better in the fall season than the spring season if you really want my honest opinion on it. But that's beyond the point of the scope of today's video. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. I am. Have a great rest of your day. I have been CJ.